Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a full set of acrylics, including the prepping, the application, and as well as kind of decorating them and making them nice and funky. Alright, so I usually do have a thin layer of acrylic left onto my nails from previous nails. I usually keep that just to keep them healthier and a little bit more stronger. So I am going to start off by just cutting my nails length off just with regular nail cutters. So I'm sure everyone knows how to cut their natural nails. It's not too hard, but I'm just going to start off by cutting it kind of roughly. I'm not paying too much attention to getting it perfectly straight because I am going to file down the excess acrylic and then I'm going to trim them again and file them, and I'll do all of that stuff later on. Since I do have a little bit of acrylic and stuff, my nails kind of do pop right off. Alright, so I do have a thin layer of clear nail polish left on my nails as well, so I'm just going to grab some acetone, or you can use nail polish remover if you have that, but this is all I had on hand, so I'm just going to use that to remove that clear nail polish. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is grab my e-file to remove the excess acrylic I had left on my nails. I'm using this little machine I got off of Amazon. If you do want a full thorough review on it, you can leave it in the comments below and I'll be sure to do a review on it. Alright, and after removing the excess acrylic that I had on, I'm just gonna take my nail clippers again and cut my nails a little bit more cleaner. Now I do have a high hyperonychium, so I have to be kind of careful, so I can't really cut all of the free edge or else I would be cutting my skin below it. Next, I'm just grabbing a nail file and I'm going to file my nails. Just be sure to file them in one direction just when you are filing your natural nails, just so you don't damage them. The next step is to push back your cuticles. This is a very important step in doing acrylic nails because it helps the nails not lift. So be sure you get this part right. If you are using a metal pusher like I am, just be gentle because it can scratch the nail plate, and if you're new to this, it's nicer to use an orange wood stick or something a little bit more gentle. So to further work on the cuticles, I am going to take my e-file back out and I am going to be using this new drill bit that I just got. It has a round edge. You've probably seen this a lot on social media because it's all over Instagram to do cuticle cleanup. So I'm just going to do that and it works like a dream. It was so good. It's super easy and gentle to use. Alright, and after I'm done with the cuticles, I am going to go into this little kit of drill bits that came with the machine, and I'm just going to take one of them out of it and I'm just going to use it to clean up the shine from my natural nail. You want to make sure that your nails are nice and oil free before you begin any of the acrylic process. Alright, so it's finally time for the exciting part, which is applying the tips. So these are the tips I use. They're just some generic tips. You can get them really inexpensive and they do come from 0 to 10 in size. The larger the number, the smaller the tip, the smaller the number, the larger the tip, so it is confusing, but that's just how it is. So it's finally time to size the tips. So once you're sizing the tips, be sure that you do them from sidewall to sidewall. I do just lay them out in front of me in order, so you will see that. I'm just going to place every single nail that fits and I'm just going to place it in order. So once I have all of my tips laid in front of me, I am going to use this dehydrator that I got in a kit from Sally's Beauty Supplies from the brand Beauty Secrets. I really like it, and I'm just going to put that before I glue on my tips, just because I don't want any oils to be under it either, or else the tips will start lifting, and that's the last thing you want to do. So I'm just using that dehydrator, and then I'm going to start gluing my nails. Now once you're gluing the nails, just make sure you don't flood the little well that comes built into the nail tips. If you've ever used nail tips, you'll know what I'm talking about, but there's this little indent in it and you don't want to flood that, so you just want to put a little bit of a dot onto it, and then it usually does level out for the rest of the nails. Alright, so after all of those are glued on, I am just going to take a pair of scissors instead of nail cutters, just because my nail cutter has a curved edge, which kind of gives it more of a stiletto shape rather than the coffin, which is what I'm going for, and scissors just give it a nice clean straight edge, which is what I like. After I'm done cutting all of my nails with scissors, and they honestly cut through so easily, but I am going to go back with my nail cutter and cut the edges a little bit, just because it minimizes the time of filing. And I'm sure you've guessed it, the next step is filing. So I am using this file that I also got from Sally's Beauty Supply. I really like it because it's honestly 6 files in one. So after you've worn down one side of it, you can just peel it and there'll be a brand new side that you can use. It does come in 2 different grits. So I think there is a 100 grit and then there's a 120 grit, I believe. So it's really good for acrylics and false nails. It's a little bit too harsh for real nails, I find, but it works so good. Next, I'm just grabbing a more gentle nail file and I'm just going to buff in the tips with the natural nail, just so it kind of gives it more of a seamless look, and it's just a little bit easier and it just blends in a little bit better. So I'm taking my e-file again with that same ball end bit thing. I don't know what it's called, so if anyone knows what the actual technical term of that is, please do leave it in the comments below, because I am going to just refer it to the ball tip thing. So I'm just going to use that again, and I'm just going to clean up the cuticles for the last time before we apply the acrylic. Alright, so after I'm done that, the next thing I'm going to do is grab this primer. It is from the same kit as the dehydrator from Sally's Beauty Supply, and it is from Beauty Secrets. So I'm just going to put that just only on my natural nails, not the tip. So you don't want to put too much of this on, just enough so it's all covered. So after all that prepping and priming, we are ready for the acrylic. So I'm using this Beauty Secrets acrylic powder. This also did come in the kit, but in a smaller size. I just really liked it, so I grabbed a bigger one, and in the color pink. I also am just pulling out a monomer, and also I'm using my brush from Unico. It is in the number 55, if that's relevant to anyone. So I've just set up the way I like to set up and work. So I just have one little paper towel with my monomer and liquid on top, and then the other one I'm just going to place my hand on, and it's also used to take or to wipe off excess from my brush. Alright, so the next thing I'm doing is taking my brush and completely pressing it down in my monomer. I think this process is called burping, but what it does is just releases the air bubbles, so then it will prevent the acrylic that is being put onto your nails have less air bubbles as well. And ooh, so exciting, we are finally beginning the long-awaited acrylic process. So I'm not too great at the acrylic or the liquid to powder ratio, but you do kind of find what works for you and you'll get the hang of it. So here is my first nail, and so pretty. I'm so happy with how that one came out, which is perfect because it was the first nail that I was demonstrating, so I am excited. Alright, so one thing I like to do is go underneath the nail just to take away any of that bulk that
has probably sneaked into the back of it. It just gives it a cleaner and more uniform look, which is what I want. Alright, since I am done, I am going to put everything away and clean my whole entire area up. Now, you do want to take your acrylic powder and be sure to put that away before anything, because you do not want to contaminate it with any of the nail filings, because it does ruin how it performs and you do not want that. These things are pretty expensive and the last thing you want is to ruin anything. Next, I'm just grabbing the skin around the nail and just pulling it away from the acrylic, just because it makes my filing a lot easier. I am going to be using a hand file to file the edges and the sides of my nail. Alright, so I am grabbing another drill bit and I'm putting that into my e-file, and I am going to start filing the top and making it as smooth as possible. Now, I know the way I grab my finger looks really creepy and it's really gross to look at, but honestly guys, it helps so much if you're doing nails on yourself. It just kind of grips it and it kind of prevents the e-file from slipping on that nail. So it's just, I only do that just for a good grip onto my finger, even though I know it looks really gross. Next, I'm just grabbing a brush to clean off all those dust particles that we just filed off. I am then using a buffing block just to again further smooth out the nail. I do feel it as I go on, just to be sure that I have them completely smooth. I'm also going to be using a hand file again just to make the shape a little bit sharper, just because once you put acrylic on you do kind of lose the shape. So I just keep alternating between the buffing block and the nail file just according to what I need. Alright, and after I'm happy with the shape, I'm just going to grab a lint-free wipe and some alcohol, and I'm just going to rub all of the nails until they are clean from dust, and this is just going to prep us for our gel nail polish. Alright, so I am painting my nails with this light pink color from IBD. I do cure this in my UV lamp for 2 minutes, and I did use 3 layers just to get it as opaque as it could be. I then did top it off with a no wipe top coat, which I also cured, but then my camera decided to die, so I did my other hand off camera and I decided to go with a holographic powder. So I am using this holographic powder from Born Pretty, and I don't have any of those eyeshadow and things, so I am just using a Q-tip, and honestly it worked just as great. So I am going to take a lint-free wipe again and just wipe my nails once again, because holographic powder or any powder does pick up on the tiniest things, so you want to be sure that you have clean nails, or else it is going to look so bumpy and so rough, and it just accentuates every single texture on your nail. So as I started rubbing in my powder, I just felt like it wasn't that intense. It was still really pretty, but it was more of like that mermaid sheen kind of looking thing, where I wanted it to be a really subtle holographic look. So I am going to be doing another layer. So after I'm done this, I'm just putting my no wipe top coat back onto it after brushing off the excess, and I'm going to put it back in my UV light, and I'm going to repeat that process. So I just opened my powder back up and I'm just going to start rubbing it once again. And after 2 layers I was happy with it. So after I'm done this, I am just going to seal it all in by using that same no wipe top coat and curing it. So most of the products I have used today are from Sally's Beauty Supplies, so anyone can purchase them. You do not have to be certified, and I think they turned out great. Just with a little bit of practice, I'm sure you would get such a nice salon looking manicure just at home. If you enjoyed, please do not forget to subscribe, and until next time, bye.